I believe it was a wise man named Shulk who once said, "What a bunch of jokers." It might have been Rain. I don't really remember. It's been a while since I played Xenoblade. Hello, everyone. This is Balatro? Balutro?
That was Rain. Shulk is, I'm really feeling it.
Oh, he's really... Oh, okay. Listen.
Also, it's not Balatro. Title screen clearly says Baltro.
Ballstro? Yeah. This game is Ballstro?
Yeah. Just Baltro. Yeah. Oh, the ace of spades is the other A. Yeah. I get it now.
I was just showing off there, not to brag or nothing, but I do have gold stake wins on every deck in Balatro, and plus beating all of the challenge decks. Not to like brag or anything. I'm just saying I'm pretty good at this game. At the time of this recording, I didn't have all of the gold stickers on all of the Jokers, though. I still don't have all the gold stickers on all the Jokers. That will probably take me, like, a long time. So eventually I'll get there. Anyway, what is Balatro if you've never played this game before? This is poker if you could cheat, basically.
So it's like that card game from New Vegas, except it's poker instead of blackjack. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I went out of my way to try to get, some of the wackier things to happen in this particular run just to make it more interesting. Unfortunately, I can't see into the future, so I missed the chance to do the gold vampire run that I've always wanted to do. Which makes me very sad.
The gold vampire run?
Oh, okay. So okay, let me start from the beginning. How the game works is you make poker hands to score chips, and then you need to score enough chips in order to beat each blind. The Jokers that you buy in the shop either give you more points for scoring in specific ways or augment your hands in specific ways. For example, the one in the middle up there that's shiny, that's Pareidolia. That says every card that you score is considered a face card. And there are other Jokers that care about having face cards. Like, for example, the Midas Mask, which means that every time you play a face card, it becomes gold. And then there's another card called the Vampire, which says if your cards are shiny or have any other kind of enhancement, you take the enhancement away, and then you can start to multiply your score. So with these three cards together, you form Exodia the Forbidden One, where every card you have instantly becomes gold, and then the gold gets sucked off by the vampire so that you multiply your score more and more each round.
I'm glad you said Exodia, because I was about to say this must be what it feels like when I'm trying to explain Yu-Gi-Oh to someone who doesn't play the game.
Basically, if you've ever had a conversation with somebody who like...
No. I'm gonna say, was that the Slay the Princess on the Queen card?
Yes, that was the Slay the Princess.
Focus.
Okay. What I was gonna say is no. That combo is a lot easier to comprehend than anything in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh. Come on.
Well, it's funny when you talk about games like this or Yu-Gi-Oh or or like a really in-depth board game or something, because when you hear people talk about that kind of stuff, you suddenly realize, oh, this is what sports people don't realize that we hear whenever they're talking about like baseball stats or whatever.
Jack is the shopkeeper from Stardew Valley. Oh, I want this game now.
Yeah, so there's a ton of indie game arts for the different suit faces. I have currently Slay the Princess, Stardew Valley, and Among Us for them.
Because I thought I recognized the Queen from Slay the Princess.
Yeah, so I have all of that, but there's like, I think 20 different games spread out among the different suits. However, I have the clubs just as the base suit, because I haven't played any of the games that are in the clubs currently. So I'm waiting for Friends of Jimbo, like 5 or whatever. For them to add more games, and maybe there'll be a club that I've played at some point eventually. So anyway, this game's just so much fun. Part of why I think that all of us, at some point have met the person in an RPG who will just play at the casino for 10 hours. That's me. I'm that person.
I love the printer era Joker card. The colors were smeared. You can still see the color bars.
That one, the misprint, that it does a random amount of extra score each round.
Okay. Yeah, so like you fall in love with this game because you yourself, if you were going into earlier, you have a history of enjoying poker.
Well, I'm not good at like poker. Like if you like put me in a room full of card sharks, I would get my ass whooped because I'm not particularly good at bluffing or anything like that. Or trying to find like trying to do the deduction of, oh, that guy showed aces earlier, I've got an ace. That means that guy can't have aces, which means that I have the highest hand, which means that, like, that kind of stuff, or counting cards or anything like that, that's not necessarily what I find enjoyable about it. I mostly enjoy just, like, I think finding card hands is satisfying, and, like, the kind of risk-reward of, oh, I've got a two-pair here. I can either play that, or I can discard and maybe go for a four of a kind, or, something like that. I just find that risk-reward kind of style of gameplay fun. And the other thing is that very quickly, if you're good at a game of Balatro, it's not really even about making poker hands, because you can very easily adjust your deck to not function like a normal poker deck.
Oh man, I'm just gonna say it's clever that they're mixing in tarot cards as well, because tarot cards are basically the source of modern day playing cards.
You are right about that. In that, like, I think a lot of the symbols and whatnot also come from.
Oh, well, like basically all of them do. There's the face cards. There's the number of suit format in general.
The other thing that's really clever too is that the tarot cards also somewhat function similarly to like what their meanings are. If you've ever studied any sort of like tarot reading or anything like that. The one example I can think of off the top of my head is that in tarot readings, death does not actually mean that something bad is necessarily going to happen. It just means that there's going to be a change in your life. So you can use the death card to transform one card into another card. So you can make your 3 of clubs turn into a queen of hearts.
I feel like that kind of stuff is way more common knowledge now than it used to be, thanks to Persona.
Yeah, thanks to Persona. I mean, they're general, like, witch and pagan. Not that I don't think tarot cards are pagan, but there's a lot of overlap.
They come up in witchcraft books and stuff a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff is also more popular now than it's ever been before. But like here, I've got 2 10 of diamonds. You shouldn't be able to do that. But I want to make my deck all diamonds because the Joker I have up there of the gem gives me money every time I play a diamond. And if you have enough money, then you win in real life and in video games.
This is just like a souped up, incredibly enhanced version of Caravan from New Vegas, like it really is. Because what was Caravan in New Vegas? Well, they wanted to have a trading card game in a setting where nobody has the facilities to manufacture a trading card game. So all of the trading cards are just playing cards. And you mix and match your own deck.
So you just start with a deck of cards and you're like, hey, I'll trade you a 7 of clubs for a 5 of diamonds. And they're like, sure.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, you buy individual playing cards from merchants. The first guy in Good Springs who teaches you the game gives you a starter deck of playing cards. And it's just like, you're playing blackjack with an assembled deck of your own. It's not very good, to be honest. But, in a game where your luck stat determines how successful your card draws are, like you're channeling the heart of cards, it doesn't actually need to make much sense.
I guess so. I think, it depends on the kind of game. Sometimes these, like, games will have incredibly in-depth... Oh, no! Misclick! I was supposed to put the red seal on first before I cryptid it. I'm terrible.
Wait, what happened?
Okay, so, one of the cards I had in my hand would put a red seal on one of the queens. The red seal means that the card triggers twice. And then one of the cards I had was the cryptid, which makes 2 copies of that selected card. So I should have put the enhancement on it first before doubling it, because now I have 2 normal Queen of Diamonds and 1 with the seal, and I should have had all 3 have a seal, basically. Also, everybody knows the beloved poker hand 5 of a kind.
Well, yeah.
Duh.
Well, hold on. There are 4 suits.
Yes.
In a standard deck. If you had a Joker, could you?
I don't know, and it depends on whether or not you shuffle the Jokers into your deck.
Yeah. What about the rules of playing poker?
Yeah. In this game, the Jokers don't actually live in the deck. You don't draw them. They just live up in the top over there. I don't know. A lot of people, like my dad, growing up, whenever we played cards, he hates wild cards. He thinks wild cards damage the integrity of the game. So we never would shuffle.
That's a man that was burned in a lot of Uno games.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Although, did you know that stacking, plus cards or stacking skips isn't actually part of the real rules of Uno?
Yeah, it's a house rule.
Yeah, but it's like a good house rule.
Yeah. That's why we do it, because it's a good rule and it speeds up the games.
You mean like 90% of Monopoly?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was going to mention it myself. House rules is what makes Monopoly playable.
I actually played a game of Monopoly with the actual intended rules because we didn't really remember how to play. So we actually looked at the rules in the book in the thing, and so we actually played it normally, and it was just kind of like, this moves really slowly if you're not, just doing what you want.
That's why nobody does it.
I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but I think Monopoly's rules were actually written to prove a point rather than, know.
Yeah, it was a commentary of the era that it was released in. I don't remember all the details about it, but at the end of the day, when it comes to just having fun playing the board game aspect of it, you need the house rules to make it fast.
Yes.
It's just ironic that Monopoly itself became such a money-guzzling brand.
Have you seen Monopoly Cheaters Edition? Which looks like one of the worst designed games I've ever seen in my entire life. So, in Monopoly's Cheaters Edition, you're incentivized to cheat, but you're only allowed by the rules of the game to cheat in the way that the game tells you how to cheat. And if you get caught cheating, you have to wear this like tiny little handcuff and strap it to the table. Only this handcuff is so small that nobody above a child would ever be able to wear it comfortably. Which I mean, oh man, how dare they make this children's game for children? I'm offended. But with that said, if you look up some of the cheats and how they incentivize you to do it, it's just like nobody actually ends up doing anything, and the game moves too slowly anyway because everybody's just watching everybody else and being ultra paranoid about catching a cheater, and it's just it looks terrible.
Man.
There was also Monopoly for Millennials, which had the Monopoly guy wearing a hipster sunglasses, and it just made me cry a little bit.
I'm glad you brought that up because its tagline was, let's face it, you'll never own property anyway.
And whose fault's that, Mr. Monopoly Man? Listen, Mr. Monopoly Man and the Pringles Man are long lost brothers.
Yeah, Monopoly for Millennials has him wearing like some pretty far out shades. He's got earbuds on. He's got a Starbucks cup of coffee. No avocado toast though, because that was a thing that we were just conflated with for the longest time for some reason. I never fucking got it myself.
I don't know. It was trendy, and therefore trendy is bad.
Avocado toast sounds like one of those things that would have come up in like diet circles.
Yeah, it was a trendy new people food. Like, how dare, like, it's like when people make fun of gluten. It's a diet that didn't exist when we were young. Therefore, it's for wimps and babies. God forbid, people didn't know about celiac disease 30 years ago, and that might be the actual reason why gluten-free diets weren't in vogue back then. Back in my day, people just dealt with stomach aches all the time, no matter what they ate, and they liked it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Well, there goes that logic again.
My favorite thing of all time is when you look up, people are like, oh, well, we didn't sit with our elbows on the table. The first point is that, yes, they did. And then you show them a bunch of old-timey pictures of people with their elbows on the table. And then it's like, yeah, people yelled at you to not put your elbows on the table, and you're continuing the cycle of nagging. Stop it.
I think my favorite one of those is these kids today and their cell phones they're glued to, and then someone just responds with a picture of a bunch of people from like the 40s just all reading newspapers on the train.
Where on earth did the rancor against putting your elbows on the table come from? I don't understand.
Know.
I don't fucking understand. Who cares?
They really care about their table?
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if my elbows are on the table? And if so,
why did no one ever capitalize on selling elbow coasters?
Yo, hold on, though.
That feels like it would make putting your elbows on the table unsafe, actually.
It's also just like another thing to set out on the table when you're about to have dinner. You know, it's just like, if you're like me and have a big family, it's hard to sometimes even just fit all the plates and silverware on the table, let alone, you know, like everybody needs their elbow coaster, you know.
See, this is why you need to just ditch plates and mats altogether and just have everyone eat from the same communal slop bowl.
Yeah, but when you have a family with as much double dippers as mine, I don't know how much you would want to have their backwash in the slop bowl.
Communal slop bowl sounds disgusting. But I've seen some like really fancy looking Japanese meals on YouTube where everyone is just picking food out of like a big old collective platter of various dishes, and that looks fucking amazing. You know, I would do that. Although if I were doing it, I would be the only one at the table, so you know, maybe kind of missing the point.
Everyone else is in the living room watching TV.
That's another thing that I remember people like. When I was growing up, people would really like. Some people were on a real crusade about people watching TV while they ate, as if.
Oh, it's now that we live in a world where everybody has a TV in their pocket, basically. That's gotten out.
Even before smartphones became prevalent, I can count the number of times I've had dinner at a table with my family or friends of family. In a dedicated dining room in one hand. Awkward doesn't even begin to describe what it's like doing that. I will gladly take my plate to the living room and chow down while watching something on TV to keep me from trying to force a conversation.
No, my parents were all like, oh no, you'll get the carpet dirty. Gosh, Mom.
That's what the vacuum's for, Mom.
I mean, it's okay if you're socially outgoing and enjoy dinner conversation. Me, not so much.
Yeah, I don't, listen, if you want to talk, sure, we can talk, but don't force me to talk.
Yeah.
I will talk when I am comfortable to talk. Also, I'm in the middle of eating. Shut up.
I mean, my family's pretty chill about it. They just have their conversation around me, and occasionally I chip in. And that's comfortable and fine. And, you know.
So, John, did your family not do that kind of thing for Thanksgiving too?
Thanksgiving and Christmas was the only two times we'd sit at a table, because for Christmas and Thanksgiving specifically, we invite my mom invites essentially the entire block.
Oh, okay.
To the bottom floor of the house, because that's where we have the most space. And we set up a bunch of folded tables together. And everyone can just sit down, sort of thing. Not everybody does it at the same time, because not everybody, is there to chat. They just want to eat. But it is the only time we have any sort of traditional sit down for dinner. Every other time, no, we can sit in the living room and we can watch Home Alone or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Wait, how do you if you don't have enough space for your normal family around a table, how do you fit the whole block around a table?
Well, the whole planet block is strictly for Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's where we got all the fold tables out. But any other time where it's time, if I'm visiting folks, or if I'm just paying a visit for them and we're having dinner, we're sitting at the living room table, because there's only 4 or 5 of us.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
The thing that I think people have done internally is that, like, you know, a lot of families grew up in a really like high energy social environment where they did indeed gather around the table and they liked it, but you know, they kind of like internalized this idea that that is the only ideal family situation and everyone should be going for it. And I'm just like, no, let families be themselves. Let them.
Are you telling
decide
me that we
what
can't
makes
just
them
force
work?
our worldviews onto other people? That sounds like them liberal propagandas you're shoving out there, Lewis. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, this goes back to when I was growing up, though, because like a lot of people just had this idea that there was only one healthy family dynamic in existence. And if you did not conform to that dynamic, you were in an unhealthy family dynamic. And it's just like, dude,
And that
chill.
family dynamic is the Addams Family.
Just
Well,
like,
wasn't the Addams Family was a satire of the like Leave It to Beaver style?
yeah.
kind
And you
of
know
family
what?
That you would see.
In that vein, the Addams Family is indeed the healthiest family dynamic ever, because they conform
in terms
to
of
that
like
perfectly.
sitcom families.
Yes.
It's up there. Like, there's very few sitcoms where like the family dynamic between especially the husband and the wife is as loving and affectionate as in the Addams Family. It's been so long, so I don't remember their names.
Gomez and Morticia.
Thank you. Like, they're all over each other, and it's like most of the time in your typical sitcom, it's just like, oh, the old ball and chain. Oh, I hate my husband. I hate my wife. And it's like, why did you marry each other?
You watch Married and Children, and it's nothing like the Addams Family. Jesus Christ. It's like a running joke that that the absolutely phenomenally attractive wife is always looking for someone younger and hotter. Or at least teasing that she will.
I mean, I get that there's more comedy to come from a relationship where there's some tension as opposed to one where they're just happily married and whatnot, but it's just like one of those things where you wonder, why is there such a stereotype of these people hating each other? Why did you get married?
Well, more opportunities for comedy in the sense that there are more opportunities for the canned laughter to go off, but
Oh yeah, fair. You know, we in this house we love when we hear that the rest of the audience is laughing. That means that we must laugh, for we are mere sheep.
Yeah, I hate laugh tracks.
What's Planet X?
Planet X is a theoretical planet that may or may not exist.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. However,
It's also where Duck Dodgers went to in that one short.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is. So there is like an actual like astrological theory about Planet X. I am not the person to ask about it. I like Googled this once 3 months ago and don't remember the answer correctly.
Every time I've heard Planet X brought up as a child and teenager, it was always either a clearly tabloid article or the bringer of the next rapture, which never happens. You know, like, come on.
Okay, since nothing visually stimulating is happening on screen right now, I'm going to Wikipedia. Planet X, disambiguation. Planet X is a disproved hypothetical planet proposed in 1906 by Percival Lowell to have existed beyond the planet Neptune.
Yeah. So it's a fake planet. So you get so all of the different planets you get upgrade your different card hands. You get Planet X to upgrade 5 of a kind, which again is a fake poker hand that doesn't actually exist.
Hang on. I'm trying to remember if I'm remembering my solar system planetary orders correctly. Which one is Neptune?
I can never. You see, I just know the order of the planets. I can never remember the stupid mnemonics that they taught you. It's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Okay, so Neptune is the farthest one out.
Saturn, Uranus,
Jupiter, Saturn,
Neptune,
Uranus, Neptune.
Pluto.
Neptune is the farthest one out now that Pluto has been excluded from the planetary clique. But
Sorry, no Plutos.
Also, Pluto's orbit is so funky that it is actually possible at times for Neptune to be the furthest out.
It happens like every couple hundred years, though.
Maybe that's why Pluto was kicked out, because they didn't play by the rules.
Have you ever watched Invader Zim, where Zim isn't special because he's too small? That's Pluto. He's too small, so he can't be considered part of the Planet Club. I forget how big you have to be in order to be considered a real planet. Like one of the big.
Well,
dwarfs.
I mean, I think Pluto is called a dwarf planet now, but it's
it actually says on the planet card in Balatro dwarf planet as opposed to normal planet.
Well, if they don't specify, some nerd will get on their case for not following the accepted scientific categorizations. You know.
Listen, bro, I just like Pluto, and even if it's oh god, I just realized. Me liking Pluto being a planet effectively makes me the kind of person who gets mad when they do feathered dinosaurs, because I grew up with scaly dinosaurs. I am just that person.
Wait.
Because the idea is there's like an anti-feathered dinosaur contingent on the internet.
Yes, there is, and I'm just like, it's all crashing back into my brain because I usually repress it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they're like, no, because I grew up with scaly dinosaurs and they're cooler. And it's just like, well, scientifically, they probably had feathers, and it's one of those things where it's just like, deal with it. And now I'm here being a hypocrite, being like, no, because Pluto's a planet in my heart, even though it's just like, well, scientifically it's not. I need to deal with it.
But look, the thing is, there were both feathered and scaly dinosaurs. It's just
there were scaly dinosaurs?
Yeah, you go into, like, the place that became South America when the continents reshuffled themselves. And, like, you get stuff like Carnotaurus, I think, who was most likely a fully scaly dinosaur. Ooh. And he's like one of the big two-legged carnivores like T-Rex, you know? So,
ooh.
You know, it's...
Also, at the end of the day, we weren't fucking there. Like, we don't know for sure.
You're telling me Fred Flintstone lied to me, John? Excuse me?
Yeah, I don't think Flintstone should be a substitute for a historical chronicle of the prehistoric age.
Flintstones, I think, was still portraying dinosaurs in the way that Jurassic Park was going against, because you know, at the time, that tail dragging kind of dumb dinosaur vibe was the pop cultural ideal. You know,
yeah, because Flintstones came out originally in, like, what, the 60s? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, there were several decades behind where even Jurassic Park was. Not just scientifically, but also pop culture-wise, because pop culture will always lag in understanding behind the scientific community.
I mean, that whole idea actually came from a philosophical bias. They wanted to picture dinosaurs as dumb and stupid, and basically waiting around for their own extinction, because otherwise, why would God let something go extinct? Obviously, these things were a failure. The idea that dinosaurs were amazing creatures was fundamentally opposed to their idea of how the world was.
You see, I never really understood why creationists had any issue with dinosaurs, because their own, like, religion kind of just explains it away very neatly, in that, okay, let's assume God, if we assume by, like, the Bible thumper interpretation of it, where the earth is less than 1,000 years old, or whatever it is, or I think it's like 4,000 years old, an all-powerful God can just make a world that has dinosaur bones there from the beginning. You know, why do you have to try that hard?
Well, that's a bit of a straw man, but you know, the specific view that I'm talking about stemmed from, like, a more specifically Victorian idea of humans as this special chosen people, you know, who were amazing and, you know, the best and obviously destined for greatness, and the idea that God would let a species go extinct was itself anathema to that idea, because if that could happen, then humans might fuck up, but humans can't fuck up. We're the chosen people.
Man, humans would never fuck anything up, right?
Yeah,
right?
and like the philosophical ideal sort of phased out when we started to see actual species on our planet alongside us go extinct, because of our own actions. So obviously God would let it happen because he let it happen when we did it. But, you know...
I have to say, I love all the twists and turns this commentary's been going since we started this fucking thing like 30 minutes
That's why
ago.
it's an April Fool's video.
Real quickly, though, just to quickly veer back into the game, I noticed, because I keep thinking, did I leave my fan on? No, there's vibrations that happen in the game for some reason or another. Can you explain what that is? The screen shaking?
Oh, yeah. So when you're scoring a lot of points, the screen will shake. You'll also notice sometimes the score thing on the left will be on fire. It goes on fire and does a little like fire roaring sound if you score enough points to beat the blind in one hand. So like here, I'm playing in normal flush. I want this glass to break because if it breaks, then there's deck thinning. Everybody's favorite TCG concept ever, deck thinning. So it makes the deck smaller and I'm more likely to draw the cards I want. But if I'm scoring like this four of a kind, I think I'm doing here right now, I think we'll win the round in one hand. You'll start to see like, oh, the screen's going to start shaking. You'll start to, you'll hear the flames start to go. And then the sound design in this game is actually peak for the record. I love the way this game sounds. It's just phenomenal. Like all of the different sound effects for scoring points and earning money and whatnot are just perfectly designed for the maximum amount of dopamine to go straight into your brain. If you're the kind of person who likes watching big numbers go on the screen, like if your favorite thing is Final Fantasy 13 and then watching a move go onto the screen and then suddenly like you see 15,9999s, a banana. Can I tell you guys the story about the banana crisis and how Balatro taught me about how a species of banana went extinct?
Sure. That ties into our earlier tangent nicely.
Yeah. So there used to be this breed of banana called the Gros Michel, or as I like to call him, Gross Michael. And Gross Michael...
That's what the history books say anyway.
Gross Michael got infected by like a really terrible fungal disease in the Panama banana farms where it was being grown, and basically the entire species of banana went extinct, which is bad. So they had to very quickly find a new banana species to start breeding instead, which is the Cavendish, which is the banana we use today. So in Balatro, if you ever want to, when you get the Gros Michel Joker, it has a 1 in 6 chance to just die and be deleted from your roster. And only after you have Gros Michel die can Cavendish be bought. And Cavendish scores more points than Gros Michel does. So yeah,
okay.
There's your history lesson for the day.
That is a random-ass joke on how a Joker's hat looks like a bunch of bananas.
It kinda, yeah. There's also some like really weird, like in jokes for some of the Jokers that you'll get. Like on the business card, which I just clicked past actually, it's designed to look like the business card from that Christian Bale movie that gets memed on all the time, and I don't remember its name.
Oh, American Psycho.
Yeah, where he's talking about like, oh, the business card. It's like
You like Huey Lewis in the News.
So I have a question. Why do some of these cards look like they've been run through the washer by accident?
Oh, that's your lucky card. I just made one a lucky card there. The lucky card normally does nothing, but it has a 1 in 5 chance to score you extra points and a 1 in 20 chance to give you $20. So it's like you go into your pocket to get your lucky card and, oh, there's a $20 bill in here. Look at that. Which I love. The steel cards multiply your score. The gold cards give you money. And there are ones that just give you different points in different ways. You can also have cards made of glass in your deck, and those score you lots and lots of points. But then they can break because it's glass. So that's bad. I think, there's a lot of random references in this game. I think on the mail-in rebate, the address on the envelope is Seinfeld's address in Seinfeld. There was a lot of them. There's a video that goes into every pop culture reference in Balatro. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but if I see one, I will let you know. But yeah. So no, I hate Verdant Leaf so much. Verdant Leaf makes me sad. Because then you have to sell one of your jonklers and then you don't get as much score. Also another fun fact, the game says you can go into endless mode after you beat the game. It is not technically endless. If you get all the way to Ante 39, the scoring requirement goes above the integer limit for the game, and so the score you'll need to reach is nan, or not a number. And even though you can score enough points in one round also to break the scoring limit, because nan is not a number, you can't be higher than it, and so you'll never actually be able to go higher than that. So it's like one of the most recent games in history that I can think of that has a kill screen.
I was going to say, I never thought we'd see the day of a game with a kill screen again.
Huh.
Yeah, like that's usually something that you think that you would see in like
An 80s arcade game or something.
That's what happens when you go really crazy with the alchemy in Morrowind.
because like I know Pac-Man has a kill screen.
Actually,
Donkey Kong has a kill screen.
Oh, it does?
It's not quite the same thing, at least in terms of just having a kill screen, but I believe it was only recently discovered that one of the mini games you can play on one of the WarioWare titles, where it's air hockey.
Wait, what?
Yeah, where you are the Wario opponent is constantly moving their arms closer forward to your goal, so it becomes harder and harder to move the puck past their arms. At some point, if the game lasts long enough, his arms will extend just to the side of your goal, and you can't win. But you have to have the game going on for an absurd long time in order to get that to happen.
How long would you have to play the game in order to do that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but that's what I when you talking about kill screens, I think, or at least the game going on long enough to where it becomes unwinnable. I thought of that immediately.
That does make sense.
Actually, I tell a lie. Morrowind and the Elder Scrolls don't do kill screens. They just crash when the numbers get so high that the computer can't compute them.
Balatro won't crash if you get the number high enough.
I straight up think Skyrim still does it. I think it's only possible in like blacksmithing and alchemy, maybe, when you pile on so many alchemy or blacksmithing improvement potions that your blacksmithing and alchemy get so high that you just create god tier equipment and then use that to create more god tier equipment.
Oh, because then you'd get, maybe not technically exponential, but, you know, like, you're creating better and better stuff each time, and then that would skyrocket you to whatever the limit is.
The basic principle is most easily summed up by explaining Morrowind. Your alchemy scales with your intelligence, but you can create fortify intelligence potions with your alchemy, which you can then drink to create stronger fortify intelligence potions, and on, and on, and on, for as long as your ingredients last. And then you can just create a potion that increases all of your stats by 20,000. And the only reason that works is because I was playing Morrowind. I was playing Morrowind on a source port that let the numbers get higher than they normally would have. Otherwise, I would have blown up the game.
Question: why is the background Gygus?
It is Gygus, actually. Now that you mentioned,
because this is the final battle.
Yeah, it's the final battle.
It's literally the same thing.
I don't mean to alarm you, but the final boss of Earthbound was a screensaver all along.
That is true, yeah. Earthbound runs on screensaver technology.
Just give me the image of the kids fighting against the 3D pipe maze from Windows 95.
Oh, well, that's just wizardry.
I did it! I win! Are you proud of me, Dad?
Quite, actually.
So wait, this was actually a full playthrough of Balatro.
It was just one game?
This wasn't an April Fool's joke at all.
Yeah, well, you can keep on going. Like, the game does go into endless mode, so you can keep on playing until you... But the numbers get absurdly high. Like, for example, you'll very quickly go into scientific notation, where you need to score 4 to e to the 36 in order to win. And you can get that high. It is definitely possible, but the run that I was doing right now didn't have that potential going for it just yet. But yeah, no, it was indeed a full playthrough of Balatro.
Okay.
I didn't have Ben Star at all.